Yo, people, welcome back. Lateness is greatness. You already know what time it is. It's time for another video, and I must say, me and Monstar did not plan to be talking about this subject at all, but unfortunately, here we are talking about this, bro. Christensen, and I'm gonna get up at the bottom of your screen, people. Christensen still not done. Still not done, and we've had this issue with Rudiger as well. But Christensen, man, we thought this was done last month. Matt Law on London is Blue podcast last month says this was done, said it was, a done deal, nothing to worry about. And then Nizar from Goal is coming out and saying today that it's not done and they haven't had contact for 2 months, the two parties. And in terms of the team, Christensen's team, they want a bigger salary than they're being offered by Chelsea. They feel undervalued, which is the same thing Rudiger said. We cannot afford to lose both of these defenders. And Christensen, for me, is even more important not to lose because he's younger than Rudiger. I mean, bro, how are you feeling about this, bro?
Bro, me personally, I don't think both of them, I just don't think it's worth losing them because number one, you've got to replace them. It will cost more money to replace the both of them, number one. So in terms of you're going to have to sign a new player, you're going to have to pay sign-on bonuses, agents' fees, everything, including a sign-in fee as well to the clubs those players are coming from. These two are the two centre-backs that are top of their game. You could say both of them are top 10 centre-backs in Europe right now. Now, as I've seen there's rumours of De Ligt. Why would you... De Ligt is great, and he will be a great future centre-back. But it makes no sense to lose your centre-backs that are performing at the highest level. The highest of the highest level, world-class level, or a centre-back that we know is going to end up being great, but he's not there yet. Do you get what I mean? Like, it just doesn't make sense. It makes sense if Thiago Silva obviously doesn't renew, okay, we'll bring in De Ligt. That makes sense. Do you get what I mean? Yeah. But to lose your two world-class, I'm just going to call them world-class, to lose your two world-class centre-backs and then bring in De Ligt, it makes absolutely no sense. I think that will be the worst business probably I've ever seen Chelsea make. Do you know what I mean? I understand when we've lost young players who were not performing yet, and then they ended up becoming great. That happens. But to lose your world-class players now, while they're world-class, and then to bring in someone who's just him and his agent are gonna cause all types of turmoil to the team, it will be the worst business I've ever witnessed Chelsea make.
Yeah, do you know what? Yeah, I can understand where Christensen's coming from because even when we saw the 140, it did seem a bit low. Again, when you look at the comparison to other players in the squad, Drinkwater, Babarama, even Malong Sars on 100k, like it does feel low for Christensen to be taking the 140. And then on top of that, the amortization cost you're going to have to pay on De Ligt is ridiculous. We've spoken about it just before we went on air there. Raiola. Like, Raiola's going to cost so much. Do you know what I mean? In terms of everything he brings. Every single time you do a contract renewal, Raiola's going to make you pay tooth and nail for it. Yeah, so that's the upfront cost for him and the player, the transfer fee you got to pay. And then the wages, I think De Ligt says along the bottom, De Ligt is on 280k. So we're ready to negotiate with
Rudiger wants 200. Rudiger wants 200, yet we're going to go out and give De Ligt practically 300k. Plus, we've got to hand out the wages to the signing on fee for Raiola alone would cover Christensen's whole contract. So it just doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't.
The thing is as well, we didn't even pay for Christensen. He is. Oh. This is a Cobham. Like,
got him very young. Yes,
bro. Do you know what I mean? I don't like the way this is going because we were so quick. And listen, I rate Hudson-Odoi. I think he's got a lot of potential. But we were so quick to give Hudson-Odoi the contract he wanted, the 5-year deal, and he hadn't really done anything yet in comparison to what Christensen's done. Christensen's trying to negotiate a contract right now, and we're treating him like as if he hasn't accomplished much. He has literally been a first teamer, putting in top performances for club and country this calendar year, and he's become a mainstay in our defense to the point now where we're saying Christensen, and he played in the back four for Denmark, so I actually have no worries or queries or qualms about him transitioning back to a back four if need be. This is a defender that we're going to have here for the next, 8 years. He's 25 now, Yeah. So 9 years we're looking at for Christensen. He's not a defender that relies on pace. He's very intelligent, great positioning, great concentration. His issue was always mentally and physically, but he seems to have brushed that up. So he's not a defender that relies on his physical attributes to defend. He's going to be here for a long time. So the contract makes sense to give him a proper offer.
Do you know what the worst thing is as well, Matisse? The worst thing is that Juve want to get Rudiger for free. If Christensen obviously becomes available, Juve would want Christensen. So that's the worst thing. They're willing and happy to let the lig go and bring in our centre backs.
They're going to make money from this
and they will make
Christensen
money
and Rudiger won't be on 280 and they won't cost them anything. And De Ligt will cost money and probably be on 280 minimum because I don't think he's going to take a pay cut. Do you know what I mean? It's mind-boggling,
I
bro.
I don't understand. Like, what I'm hoping this doesn't end up being true, and that Chelsea obviously do what they need to, what they need to do. But this is poor. This is very poor. From if this ends up happening, this is terrible business on Chelsea's behalf. And there's not many times I can sit here and say that Chelsea have done horrible business, but this will be the worst of the worst if Chelsea end up doing this.
Yeah, no, 100% agree. And when Rudiger was, I mean, we've known about Rudiger for a long time, them not agreeing on terms yet. I don't want us to lose Rudiger, but I would understand if he ended up leaving it. I would be able to make peace with it because he's had so many ups and downs at this football club with the fans, with the board, with feeling valued, feeling wanted, etc. He's had moments where he's been out of line potentially, vice versa with the fans, vice versa with the board as well. So I could understand if a 29-year-old wanted to have one last big contract at a different club and do his thing. That would be, again, we don't want that to happen, but I could understand it. I could make peace with it. And, I think Trevor Chalobah, I said it so many times, he can play left side in a back three. He did it on loan last season in France. We have Levi Colwill coming through. We could make a signing. Like, I could make peace with that, losing one. But to lose both of them, especially Christensen, because like Christensen has been trying to make it at this football club. Like that's been his end goal. Do you know what I mean? And he's now finally done it. And this is when the question marks come. Like we had less question marks over Christensen's future when he wasn't playing well and he was making mistakes. We were questioning whether he was going to be able to play in the Premier League. Now he's actually proved it. There's question marks. It's crazy to me. And I don't understand. And again, he's not a controversial figure. He hasn't had any issues behind the scenes that I've been preview to. So again, from Chelsea's perspective, it makes absolutely no sense to even allow this to even become a talking point in a story and to let it even have the possibility. We need to remember, these guys can sign pre-contracts on the 1st of January. It's the 25th of October.
What's scary.
We're 2 months away, bro. 2 months away from them able to sign. As soon as they can sign pre-contracts, it's out of our hands. Now it's just us versus everybody else. Because if they sign those pre-contracts with another club, there's nothing we can do. 1st of January, they can sign. Real Madrid can come in, make them feel wanted, make them feel valued. They can sign it 1st of January and they're gone. That's it. There's nothing we can do. And then we just got them to the end of the season. I mean, for you, if you had to pick one, I'm guessing, are you picking Christensen as well? For that, like, if you're saying to the club now, prioritize getting one of these contracts signed in the next 2 weeks, you're picking Christensen?
I'm picking Rudiger. I want Rudiger signed first because I'm not sure. Is Christensen's contract ending this summer?
It is. They're both running out this summer.
I just don't know. Like right now, like in my mind, it's just. I know you said you could understand, but even me, I'm not gonna lie. Maybe I'm a bit selfish. I can't understand us letting any of them go because they're both on the form of their life. Letting any of them go is just as bad to me. Do you get what I mean? I know Christensen's significantly younger, or how many years younger is he? 3 or 4 years younger?
4 years younger.
4 years younger, but still, like, I just can't fathom losing a world-class player. Do you get what I mean? I just can't fathom, and it's 2 of them. I can't fathom losing 2, let alone like what? I can't fathom losing 1, let alone 2, bro. Do you get what I mean? The whole world wants them, and Chelsea can't even give them. And listen, let's be honest, Matisse. Even if these guys wanted 400k, they're going to get it if they leave on a free. Because
they don't. But I would think 400k is too much because now
I'm not saying
our wage structure. Do you know what I'm saying?
No, I'm not saying pay them 400k.
Yeah,
I'm just saying even if they wanted, they could get that because obviously clubs don't have to pay agents' fees and blah blah. We
saw it with David Alaba, didn't we?
Yeah. So in terms of the money, they can get that, but they just want a reasonable amount of money, and Chelsea have to pay that. Do you get what I mean? You have to pay it. Like this is. We're not talking about paying them 300, 400k. We're talking about paying them around 200k.
I mean, Chilwell's on 190, I swear.
Probably, I don't know how much. I don't know. I'm here yet. I think people have said 190, but we don't really know what players are on like that. But yeah, it probably is in that region,
I
isn't
think
it?
Werner's definitely on 200k plus.
But you've got like, you're talking about guys that are performing at a defensive and a defensive level. They're performing, you know, at the highest level of the game. You have to pay them. They've earned it and they deserve it. Pay them
Do you
their
think?
money, man.
Do you think this is a negotiation tactic from Mourinho? Do you think she should? Because we know she's here for, you know, I could see it when I seen her at the bridge the other day. I stared into her eyes. I could see the games that she's already playing, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, do you think she's on a negotiation tactic kind of thing, or do you think she shouldn't even be trying to play these games right now? At this
I wouldn't be
stage?
trying to. I wouldn't be. It could be, but I wouldn't even be trying to play these games because you're in the risk of, yes, you're playing these games, but you're risking losing these players. You know what I mean? Bayern Munich were risking losing David Alaba, a Bayern legend, because he is a Bayern legend. Do you know what I mean?
Mm,
He's been there since he was a kid. You know what I mean? He came through their ranks all the way up to the top and won everything 2 times over. Do you get what I mean? That's
yeah.
what we're risking with Christensen and Rudiger. The risk, yes, you can be playing your games or whatever. But what if they decide, fuck it, you know what? I'm gonna leave like Alaba did with Bayern Munich. Then what? Then we're gonna end up with eggs on our faces. We're going to have to rebuild a backline all over again. We don't need to. We just rebuilt. We just finished rebuilding.
Yeah.
Why are we trying to rebuild again? Do you get what I mean? Let's enjoy.
This should be where we go on for the next 3-4 years and really go push for the major honors.
Yeah, we should be reaping what we've sown. Do you know what I mean? That we did with the Champions League, but we should be continuing to enjoy our rebuild, going for the Prem this season, going for the Champions League, and continue seasons to season. But then you're risking tearing it all down, risking what could end up being a tumultuous relationship between the board and Tuchel, losing two of his best defenders. Do you get what I mean? Like,
especially when Thiago Silva is the agent that he is. He's the one that's, you know, every single year we're saying, okay, one more year, and then you're probably gonna have to go. And if he has a great year this year, again, one more year. But he's not the guy that you're investing your future into. He's the one that we're saying, okay, let the contract run down. We reevaluate it at the end of the season every single time. But these two are the ones, like you said, and 29. As much as I've mentioned that age, that's very young for a defender.
For a centre back,
look how old Thiago Silva is. Do you know what I mean? That's a good 3, 4, 5 years left in Rudiger, even still.
Possibly even more. Do you get what I mean? Depending on, you know, if he's because Thiago Silva is so good, not because of the pace. And even when he does go against pacey players, I remember against Son tried to use pace and couldn't outpace him. They tried to target him. These guys have, you know, world-class positional awareness, and they know where to be at the right time, but you can't outrun them. Do you get what I mean? So Rudiger, he's still got many years in him. He's playing very well. You just gotta pay the man. Just pay him, please. I'm pleading at this point. Please pay the man his peas.
Yeah, bro, I don't know, because the thing is with Matt Law is that he is extremely credible, because he said this around about a month ago to the day, maybe 4 days out, in terms of when he said this on the podcast, that he was you know, pretty much damn sure that Christensen was done. Things can change.
I thought so as well.
But then Nazar's saying they haven't spoken in 2 months, so it's conflicting, because if it was done, then maybe they don't have to speak in 2 months because it was done like 3 months ago. But if it's not done, they need to be talking right now, because we can't afford to. What we cannot afford to do is do exactly what you just said. We can't afford to let this get to January and then other clubs can start putting their contracts in front of them and showing them how much they can pay them, because they can pay them more than what we can pay them, because we're trying to keep some sort of wage structure here. We're not trying to, you know, break that 300k, 400k. But other clubs will do that, like you said. So we're soon going to be competing with that. When you throw them, and I'm not saying these players are driven by that, because listen, they've already shown that they're looking to get a normal wage, but everybody's looking for normality until crazy shit is put in front of them. And if you put 400k in front of my man and tell him, you want this, or do you want what Chelsea are offering you? It's a very sticky situation. Right now, they don't have those numbers in front of them, so they could just hurry up and get it done before they can.
So you're not even supposed to be running the risk of, do you know what I mean? Letting these guys run their contract down. Like, what are we doing that we're letting two great centre backs in our team run their contract down to the last 6 months? What are we playing at?
It's a very Arsenal thing to do, isn't it? That's not something we usually do.
No. Like, what are we playing at? Like, it's like the amount of players that are their contracts are running down to the wire. Like, it's starting to make me confused. Like, what are Chelsea actually doing? That's not like us at all.
Yeah.
Like, we're better than that.
we usually get this kind of stuff sewn up years in advance, because in
Yeah.
fact usually we're the ones to get it done so in advance and send them back out on loan or whatever we're doing. Even with Bakayoko, we seem to be renewing his contract every single time before he goes out on loan, because we just don't want to let him go for free. So why are we looking more invested in keeping Bakayoko than Christensen and Rudiger? That's my question.
He's gone. He's not coming back to the Chelsea
You
anyway.
say that, but brother, every preseason his brother's still here.
No, it's an obligation to buy. He's gone.
Okay,
2-season loan with an obligation to buy. He's
but you
gone.
know what
Drink
I mean,
water. He's gone. But yeah,
before they send 90% of the players out on loan, they get an extra year added onto their contract. Do you know what I mean? So I think
Batshuayi signed another renewal as well before he went out on loan to where was it in Turkey? Yeah. Can't remember the club.
So Chelsea are more afraid of losing 10 million value on Batshuayi than they are of losing 50, 60 million value on Christensen and Rudiger right now. It doesn't make any sense.
Possibly more. Possibly more. We're talking about like
top 5. I think top 10 was too nice. I think top 5 in terms of form in the world right now, this calendar year.
Christensen for one, we know he's been scouted and wanted by European giants for years. This is nothing new. This has been a thing for years. With Rudiger now, we know Real Madrid won him. We know Bayern won him. We know Juve won him. They said Tottenham as well, but do you get what I mean? But yeah, Tottenham too. Do you know what I mean? There's so many players, teams that are in for these guys. These guys are in demand, and why wouldn't they be in demand, innit? Yeah. Chelsea need to actually fix up, and they need to start to value what they have. Like to me, De Ligt should not even be a thought. Yes, he's a great player. Yes, he's going to become a world beater if he's not that already. Because I think De Ligt is a brilliant player, but I think before you do go for De Ligt, you've got to start to think about the guys you have at home. And start tying them down. And then you can, once Thiago Silva's gone, then you can think of a De Ligt. But right now, if these
do we even need De Ligt? Look at Trevor Chalobah just burst through the ranks. And I've been calling for Reece James to move into the back 3 because I want Tino Livramento back at right wing back. So that's another.
I don't necessarily think we need. I don't think we need a De Ligt right now. But things could change once Thiago Silva's out. Do you know what I mean? Once he's gone, then Chelsea might look to, because we know who Chelsea.
Because I think it's more important personally that we bring in a right wing back than we bring in a centre back. Because of, do you know what I'm saying? That dynamic threat that we're missing from the right hand side. Yes, Reece James was great at the weekend.
If I'm being honest with you, bro, I think Livramento's coming back. I think we'll end up buying him back. But I think, the fact that we were in for Koundé for so long, I think Chelsea are and will continue to look for one more centre back. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
So it just tells, from all the reports and everything that's been going on, it's just been telling me that Chelsea will still look to buy another centre back, innit?
But for me, I've got to choose Christensen. If I'm picking who needs to get signed up over the next 2 weeks, it's got to be Christensen for me, because the longevity is longer. There's less of like a past in terms of like back and forth between him and the club, and from going off the surface of reports that we've seen over Rudiger in last year, the back and forth and the difficulties that he, in terms of with the fans and whatnot. It's just, for me, it just seems like an easier deal to get done. Christensen, to get it done now and then focus on Rudiger afterwards. Ideally, you want them both done because, like you said, these are two defenders that are playing at their peak. But guys, let me know in the comments what you feel about this situation, and let me know who you would get done first. If you was Marina, if you was in charge of this situation, which is, by the way, a very pressing situation. We just beat Norwich 7-0. I didn't plan to talk about this today. I thought, listen, we're in the road. Yeah, bro. Listen, we're living life. We're at top of the league. We just scored 7. We're in the roses, but unfortunately, Chelsea is never boring. Do you know what I mean? And this is the main subject of the day. So let me know in the comments who you would get signed up first, and we can talk about it down there. But briefly, just for the last 5-10 minutes, bro. Obviously, we've got Southampton in the cup. How seriously are you treating this competition this season, or is this something that if we was to go out tomorrow, you wouldn't really mind too much?
Yeah. If I'm being honest, if we were to go out, I wouldn't mind too much. I think with the Carabao Cup, to me, that the way I've considered it is it's a competition that we should just be emptying our bench and getting them minutes. So the Malang Sars and all these guys, let's just keep getting them minutes, let them improve. Keep getting used to the Prem, especially with Sarr, because remember I said on the Alex Goldberg's podcast, I think he is improving and he's starting to acclimatize to the Premier League, so he could be good for squad depth in it, and he showed it in the Brentford game. So I want to continue to see these guys that are not playing continue to play. I saw, we saw Umbuyamba on the bench for the last Carabao Cup game. I wouldn't even mind seeing him at some point. You know what I mean? But just keep getting these guys minutes in it. That's why. That's why I say if they can stay in, yeah. But just let it be the guys that are not gonna really play that much or are not getting too many minutes in the Premier and the Champions League. In it, let it be them.
Your Ross Barkley's, your Sal Niguez, players like that.
Yeah, those guys.
So let's. I mean, for me, there's not really too much more to say on it. I mean, in terms of team news, we didn't get a press conference today. That just goes to show, I think, the level of importance of the game. I think sometimes when these Tuesday game comes, they don't really tend to do the press conferences on a Monday for these Tuesday games if it's not Champions League. So I think in terms of injuries, it's still Pulisic, Lukaku and Werner. Kante, I think he said was fit for Tuesday and the Newcastle game. Let's fly through our teams in terms of this because, I mean, I don't know how Southampton are going to treat it, but I agree with you. I still obviously want us to go through because the further we go, the more opportunities we can keep giving. One thing I don't like is when we exit a competition this early, or we extra it in the first round that we're playing in, and then we've got a deep squad and we can't rotate, and then people start to get unhappy and frustrated. So it's good to stay in this competition at least until the semi-finals, I think, and get the minutes clocked up for your Malong-Sars, your Ross Barkleys, your Sal Niguez's. So in terms of starting 11, are you bringing Kepa back in? I've seen Juventus are even interested in Kepa. I don't know what source that was from, but I saw that somewhere on the TL earlier. Would you put Kepa back in?
I don't know about that. I don't know about that. I would bring Kepa back. This is his competition, so let him play. In defense, I want to see Sarr and Chalobah, and probably with Christensen because Christensen didn't play on the weekend. So I want to see him. Right wing back's a bit tough because
I'd go Reece James again because I think he's accumulated a lot of minutes. To be fair,
I would play. Yeah, it might have to be Reece James because Cho's now. It looks like while these guys are injured, he's established at the left wing.
Oh, definitely
the left wing, left forward position. So I would go with obviously Reece James at right wing back to continue to, as you say, accumulate some minutes and get, build up some match fitness. Left wing back, I would go with Alonso. Let Alonso play. Just let him play. In midfield, Barkley, and it depends. This one depends because if
you put Barkley that deep, really?
Yeah, I would.
Do you know? Because remember last season, I thought like Barkley deep midfield was never something that I really liked. Seeing Ross Barkley that deep, I remember some howlers of performances.
When he played in the Carabao, he came off the bench, didn't he? But when he came off in the Carabao Cup, when he came off the bench, did he play deep?
Are you talking about the pre-assist, the Southampton game in the Premier League?
No, the last Carabao Cup game against Villa. Barkley came off the bench.
I can't remember at this point. I just remember last season under Frank Lampard when he played deep. I didn't like it. I preferred him higher up the pitch because he can score goals. He can shoot with both feet. He's shown decent passing range there against Southampton. Again, not really pushing for him to stay at this club anywhere near post January. I still think we should be trying to get rid of him. But if I'm putting Barkley and I'm thinking, I've always thought of him mentally front three because I think Sal Niguez really needs to play this game for his own sake. Do you know what I mean? Like mentally, I think he needs to play this game just to keep him not even happy. I think this just brings him back to about average mood. If he was a sim, this brother's health is in the red. Like he's pissing all over the floors in a house and he's just boxed in and shit. You know, when brothers just set the house on fire and shit just for fun. That's what Sal Niguez is doing right now. Yeah.
I would play Saul and maybe even Kante because he didn't play the last game. Maybe get a half in. I think Tuchel did that in the last Carabao Cup. He gave Kante the half and then took him off the second half, innit? So I might do that as well. But depending on where he's at in terms of his fitness. But then we're kind of light up front, aren't we?
My front three is different to yours, I can tell already. Do you want me to give you mine first?
Go on.
My front three, and I've thought about this quite a bit over the last few hours, but I'm going Ross Barkley, Hudson-Odoi, and Kai. Because I don't think Ziyech and Kai can play together. And every time I've seen them together, they've been poor. Both of them. Not even like one of them's played well. They've both been poor. I know Ziyech came off the bench against Norwich, but what were we? 6-0 up? 5-0 up? Easy. That's a training session at that point. And they're down to 10 men. So he was good.
Didn't they play in the Super Cup against Villarreal?
Villarreal, yeah, I think he did play. But I don't think did Kai play that game? Can't remember. But even still, just most of the games I've seen with those two, they don't look good together. I think they seem
And
to get in each other's way a bit.
yeah, because they occupy the same spaces.
Yeah.
That's the reason why they don't. It doesn't necessarily look
And we
too
have to
good. But I
play
think
Kai because we have no other striker.
yeah, we have to play, but we might have to play Ziyech as well because he needs some minutes. He needs to continue to get some minutes, and he needs to get back to match fitness. So, and I thought he was impressive against Norwich. He got 2 good shots, one lovely save from Tim Krul, and he basically set up the 7th goal, didn't he? When he threaded that ball through to Loftus-Cheek.
I just think in terms of balance in that front three, I can feel like Barkley can replace Mason Mount better than Ziyech and Havertz can pair up together. Because at least Barkley, you know, you're going to get. I mean, really, the kind of things that Barkley will give you, hope Barkley will give you, is what Ziyech should be giving you as well: passing range, shooting from outside the box. But I just think him being right-footed, if I'm just to make the parallel with Mason Mount, he can go around the outside, allow Havertz to do what Havertz is doing, and not get in each other's way. And I know Barkley knows how to funnel back into a midfield. Like you said, he was going to play in the pivot for a second. He drop deep and make it a 3, similar to what Mason will do, Hudson-Odoi. I feel like just in terms of variation, it just clicks a bit better. Whereas Ziyech and Kai, they just seem to get in each other's way all the time. If we had another striker like Werner, then Ziyech could come in and do you know what I mean? But I think because Kai has to play, it's a little bit of a mess.
I don't know, man. I feel like Ziyech has to play this game.
I get
Kai as well. The reason why I would have played, because I was contemplating whether we play Kai or not. But then, like you said, there's no one else there. Number 2, Kai, who I felt so in the second half of the last game, he didn't necessarily have the best game, but I felt he was actually quite crucial in some of the goals because one thing he was doing as a false 9, he was drawing the defenders forward, creating space in behind him, and that's pretty much what Kane does for Tottenham, if you get what I mean.
Yeah.
And that created a lot of space for, like, you see when Cho's goal, it was Kai that kind of drew the defenders in. Cho now found that space in behind, and then Kovacic placed that ball into him, innit? So I feel like Kai did a lot of work that people are not necessarily giving him credit for, but yeah, he has to play. But I feel Ziyech has to play as well. And with Ross Barkley, I'm just not sure unless you play like a 3-5-2, then Ross Barkley plays a 10 and you play like 2 strikers, then that makes sense. But I don't think you can play that with Cho, can you?
No, that's the issue. It's like no one else can. I don't feel like Hudson-Odoi is playing so well in his role. I don't want to even move him. Do you know what I mean? Like, exactly. I don't even want to tweak it. Like, it's harsh because the guy has already heard that he needs to perform 10 out of 10, and that will even still not prove a point. If you saw Matt Law's article or Tuchel's comments in terms of Hudson-Odoi, even if you perform against Norwich, doesn't necessarily mean going forward you're going to be this, that, and the third, which is fair enough. You want to see some consistency, but he seems to be giving Hudson-Odoi the tough love, which is fair enough. I'm all for it, but let the brother play in the position that he just performed at the weekend. Don't even tweak it. Don't ask him to then play in a front 2 and then maybe, like, in terms of his starting position changes, and instead of him making that run forward, which he made for his goal, he's making it backwards to drop deep. Don't even make that tweak there, because that changes the mentality of what you're doing on the pitch in terms of your role. You've gone from a left forward who's looking to make those direct runs and get those goals and assists like Werner has done last season with the goal contributions. That's what you're asking from him. But then you play him up top, and then you're saying to maybe Kai and one of you have got to drop deep and you've got to have your back to play. It's a different ball game. So I'm not trying to change that shape. So I'm definitely keeping the 3. So that's why I'm going with the way I am there. But you guys in the comments as well, let me know how you're going to line up. Are you confident for this game, bro? You think it's going to be another win? No
I'm not like the Villa Carabao Cup game. I'm not too bothered. Like, I'm not the most confident, but at the same time, I just don't care. If we lose, I don't like. It's not that deep to me. You get what I mean?
Like, we got bigger fish to fry. We didn't even do a presser.
Yeah, this is not a game that I'm too like. If we get knocked out, then I'll be like, it is what it is. Like, people can try banter me, but I'm just gonna be like, you're just bantering someone that doesn't care. Do you get what I mean? This one personally is not. It's not that deep to me. It's not that big of a deal. If we lose, we lose. If we win, we win. Do you get what I mean? But it's just not. It's just something we got to play in it. You know what I mean?
As long as we don't pick up no injuries, that's the main point for me.
Yeah,
we've got enough injuries now, so especially at the top half of the pitch. Guys, big up your damn selves for watching this one. Smash up the icons that you need to smash up. Leave some comments down below on your starting 11. Just the 2 things I'm asking for you guys from your starting 11. I'm going to be going through the replies there. I want to see who you guys are going to play in this game, because obviously the team's going to have a lot of changes. So it's going to be very interesting to see who you guys want to play in this match. And also on the Christensen Rudiger front, who would you sign up in terms of a contract? If you had the option the next 2 weeks, who would you sign up? Big up your damn selves. You already know where to find Monstar. The @ is on your screen. The link will be in the description. Go and subscribe. And by the time this goes up, he will have even probably already done the stream, but make sure you go and watch it if you're not there live as well for the Rudiger and Christensen talk as well. So big up your damn selves. And hopefully we don't have to even talk about that contract situation for those two again. Hopefully at least one of them are signed up before the next one. In a bit, people. Peace.
Perfect.